All right, fellas, let's get right into it. So today I wanted to talk about the reason a lot of you guys, are just wasting your time because we know that time is our most valuable asset, right? We know time is our most valuable asset, and yet we waste a lot of that shit every single day. We scroll on Instagram, right? We say we're gonna start, but we don't start, and then it's 10 years later. We say we're gonna start, or it's 5 years later. You know what I mean? We say we're gonna eat healthy, but we're eating cookies. You waste so much time, but time is your most valuable fucking asset because in reality, bro, if you lock in for 6 months, you can literally change the entire direction of your life. Not just potential direction, your entire direction for your life, right? When you really lock in for 6 months, when you really do what you need to do for 6 months, all right. I'm not saying thinking about doing what you need to do for 6 months. I'm not saying hitting your protein goal only for 6 months. I'm talking about when you finally put that shit together. And here's the thing. Shout out to all my clients who've been making transformations because they've been some crazy transformations. Why? Because they're locking the fuck in and doing what they need to do. All right. For 4 months, for 6 months, for 1 year, for 18 months, for 2 years. They're locking the fuck in because when you're doing the work, when you're really doing the work, not talking about the work, when you're actually doing the work, you will see the results. A lot of you guys say, oh my God, I'm not seeing results. You're not putting in the fucking work. All right. And if you are, it was 3 days. Congratulations. Like 6 months is the bare minimum of consistency, not 6 months of doing some work, but not doing it. I'm talking about 6 months of consistency. So that means you're fat as shit, right? You're 25% body fat, right? Or you're 30% body fat. You're fat as shit. Your stomach's hanging over. You have bad eating habits. Girls disrespect you every day. You hate your job. You know what I mean? Your car's always fucked up. You got a lot of debt and shit like that. You might have 30K in debt. You know what I mean? So if for 6 months you're like, yo, I'm sick of this shit, right? You can make the decision any day. And that's the crazy thing. You have free will. You can make the decision at any day to change your fucking life. If you're like, you know what, for the next 6 months, fuck that shit. I'm gonna lock in on my nutrition and track not just your protein, your calories, protein, carbs, fats, obviously fiber. Track all that shit. You're gonna track your macros, right? You're going to track your spending and start saving and using that extra money you're saving towards debt, right? Getting your shit together, start getting more haircuts, start working on grooming, start looking for a better job, you know what I mean, to elevate. And then guess what? 6 months later, you can be from that 25 to 30% body fat all the way down to 10 to 15, depending on how locked in you are. If you're consistent for 6 months, all right, you could be down to 10 to 15% body fat. Guess what? You can have all your debt paid off. That 30K, you can have that 30K paid off if you're really locked in. All right. And then you can stack on another 6 months and really start to save money. You see what I'm saying? Stack 5K, 10K, 20K, 30K, 40K. Just keep stacking, stacking, stacking. You see what I'm saying? That's what can happen. But that first 6 months can give you that momentum. Because best believe, the craziest thing to me is like the amount that your life changes when you get lean is crazy. But a lot of people just stay in the 25 to 30% body fat range because they're not serious about shit. And when I say lock in for 6 months, you guys don't understand what the fuck locking in means. It means when I don't care if it's cold outside, I don't care if your knee hurts, your elbow hurts, your shoulder hurts, I don't care if you're sick, I don't care if you're tired, you have to show the fuck up. You have to show yourself that you're ready to change your identity. You have to show yourself that, yo, I'm sick of being on Tinder for fucking 3 months. I'm paying for boosts and have zero fucking matches. The only match I have is a fat bitch. Like literally. When you're really sick of that shit, you lock the fuck in. When you're like, yo, I'm sick of, having this debt hanging over my head every time I make extra cash, the interest goes up or late payments or I'm overdrafting. You got to be proactive with the shit then. You got to change your whole fucking identity. Listen, my credit used to be in the four fucking hundreds. All right. My shit used to be in the 400s. Now it's damn near perfect. All right. We all start from somewhere. All right. We all start from somewhere. So my shit used to be in 400s. Now it's damn near perfect. Literally, it's almost like maxed out type shit. That's what happens when you shift your mentality, though. I wasn't trying to increase my credit. I was trying to be someone who has good credit. And I became someone who has good credit with my habits and with my thinking. All right. Same thing for being out of shape. I was pre-hypertensive when I got, super out of shape, right? When I got up to 226, 230, I didn't want to fucking step on the scale. You know what I mean? I was like, damn, bro, looking crazy. I was looking crazy out there. Stomach hanging out, stomach hanging out, everything. I was beefing with the dryer, bro. I was beefing with the dryer because I thought the dryer was the reason that my clothes were tight. No, nigga, my body fat was. My eating habits was. Eating McDonald's every day wasn't fucking helping me. So guess what I did? I stopped doing that shit. All right? Because I'm not going to complain about shit and not make a change. All right? I'm not going to complain about shit and then just stay there eating the same shit and be like, oh my God, like I'm getting disrespected. I look like shit. I hate how I look. And I'm eating cookies. The fuck? Yeah, I was doing that shit. I was eating some sushi. I was eating cookies. We all do that. But if you want to make a change, you got to make that decision. And decision means you cut off all other options. You close the door behind you. Not that like, you know what? If I feel like it tomorrow, I'll do it. Nope. Because you ain't going to feel like doing shit half the time. And if you base your actions on motivation, you're already cooked. If you base your actions off of feelings, you're already cooked. I don't feel like going, and you don't, you're cooked. Because how long would you last on any job if that was your mentality? Like, you know what? I don't want to work today. You're not showing up. All right. So if you're out of shape, and this is the most beautiful thing in life, right? Because you can't become a millionaire in six. I mean, you can become a millionaire in 6 months, but it would be more of like chance or like great opportunities. You can guarantee reduce your body fat by 10, 15% in 6 months, depending on how much you have to lose. But yeah, if you're out of shape, you're 240. Let's just say you're 6'2", 250. You know what I mean? Your waist size is like 43 inches or some shit like that, right? You're kind of fat, you're sloppy. You used to have some muscle back in the day. Now you're depressed and you ain't getting the choosing signals. You know what I mean? Your girlfriend just broke up with you. If you lock in for 6 months, you can get down, you feel me? You can get down to 210, 32-inch waist. You see what I'm saying? That's a reduction to like 10, 15% body fat off rip. You feel me? Fucking clothes hugging differently. Energy is up. Posture is different. You see what I'm saying? You start taking your shirt off more. You're getting choosing signals everywhere you go. You feel me? Like that's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen when you really change your life in six. You lock in for 6 months. And I mean grinding. I mean reading. You feel me? Every day you wake up, you read because you got to do the inner work. You guys cannot skip the inner work. How do you guys expect to change your identity when you're not willing to change the small habits? You're not really willing to feed your mind. Your mental diet and physical diet are the most important things. Working out, yeah, that plays a part. Who gives a fuck? All right, everyone can do that shit. It's all about the reading, the listening to the motivation, listening to some Jim Rohn, really locking in mentally, and not letting those moments of weakness take over. Not letting that bitch voice in your head say, "Nah, not today. I don't feel like it." Push through it, man. I worked out today. I ain't feel like working out, but I don't base what I do based on how I feel. Like I don't base it off of that shit. So if I don't feel like working out, that doesn't mean anything. I wrote down that I'm gonna work out. My goal self works out consistently. So what does that have to do? What does that have to do with anything that I don't want to work out? You feel me? That's like you got to be a man of your word. You got to keep you got to keep your word to yourself, man. Like, and that's why you guys don't have confidence because you can't confide in yourself. You can't trust yourself. You say I'm done eating cookies, and then you binge on cookies at night. You say you're done eating crumble, and you're door dashing that shit. You see what I'm saying? You're eating insomnia cookies, right? You say you're done eating. You wake up at 11 p.m. You fucking eat everything in the pantry. All right. Just because no one's looking doesn't mean no one's looking. You feel me? Like you're seeing all the mistakes you make. You know all the lies that you told yourself. All right. You personally know all the lies that you told yourself. And one of the scariest places to be, right? The scariest place to be is the same place this year that you were last year. And a lot of you guys are there. A lot of you guys are in the same place this year that you were last year or in a worse place. That's the worst place to be, man. You want to improve every single year. And your actions that you make on a daily basis, the actions that you do on a daily basis are going to dictate whether you grow or you regress. And there is no maintaining. I'm sorry. There's no maintaining. You're regressing or you're progressing. That's how shit works. And a lot of times, small habits, you might be gaining a pound, 2 pounds, 3 pounds fat a month. You don't really know that you're regressing until after a year, you're up 30 pounds of fat. You see what I'm saying? That's how shit really happens. So it's up to you whether you want to lock in for 6 months or really make a change. Because listen, if you say, I know there's a lot of goofy January dumbasses, right, that think that the moon aligns on January 1st and that's when it's the best time to start. All them motherfuckers ain't gonna make it, bro. I ain't gonna cap, bro. But you can make a decision today, be like, you know what? Today, I'm gonna lock in for the next 6 months no matter what. I'm gonna stop making excuses. I'm gonna stop bullshitting myself. Your confidence is going through the roof. All right. Your confidence is going through the roof. Period. It's gonna go through the roof. You're gonna carry yourself differently. You're gonna start doing other shit. You're gonna be like, yo. Because I remember when I first put on some muscle, I was like, what the fuck? I locked in for 6 months. I actually put on muscle. I remember when I put in muscle, I was like, yo, what else can I do? You feel me? I remember I pulled some shit. I went to get some shoes at where'd I go? Rack Room Shoes or some shit. I went to like Rack Room Shoes to get some shoes, and it was a clerk in there. She was in there, and it was just me and her. And I ended up, you feel me? I ended up spitting the game because I'm like, yo, I'm that nigga, bro. I can do whatever I put my mind to. And then I was like, what can I do for business? What can I do for this? What can I do for that? It gives you that self belief because you confided in yourself. That's what it's about. You see what I'm saying? So that 6 months of locking in, that changes your fucking identity. Once you change your identity, you really change your life, right? Temporarily changing your actions with the same identity never fucking works. That's what January 1st motherfuckers do. They do that dumb shit where they're like, oh, I'm going to tell you January 1st, by the 31st, I'll be down 40 pounds. And then it's the 31st and they're back to square one because they worked out for 21 days straight and burnt out and then quit and binge. And now they're back to square one, right? They're not willing to change their identity. They're changing their actions temporarily with the same identity, with the instant gratification mindset bullshit, all right? So lock the fuck in.